He's an 8-time Louisiana Association of Broadcasters Award winner. And he snapped a ball through his legs.
Wait, why does your name get to go first?
Shut up.
This is Scone and T.
Because they made us.
Oh, my God.
Hey, nice job, Mr. Tech Man.
Oh, my God.
What is up?
I don't want anybody's slander today. I'm not in the mood for anybody's slander today.
Matt just did a very good job. So Musso's on vacation. So Matt is once again playing on-site producer. We were having some technical issues, but Matt got it figured out, and here we are, fellas.
The crazy thing is
live on air, Natty Championship Edition. Let's get weird.
And the weird thing is, like, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just sometimes the equipment's finicky, so I raced over here from AFR and had like 20 minutes, and of course the fucking camera wouldn't take.
It's the
it's like, of course on this day is when that would happen.
It's the dumbest part of production is that everything can be plugged in the exact same way. You haven't touched a thing, and because it's electronics and there's so many wires, it just doesn't work that day. I shout out to all the techs out there who, for their job, have to do stuff like this, because y'all are some dogs. Troubleshooting that stuff is a nightmare. Once I get past restart it, I don't really know what to do.
We could probably stand. It's probably better if we did stand, actually. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. I want to sit. I like sitting here. I stand all the time.
I put the camera on the tripod.
I think it looks good.
Musso normally tapes it down so it's lower. So if you're watching today, it just looks it's closer to us and higher.
I think so closer is actually a better look.
It's a different. But look, it looks like we're sitting next to each other on an airplane.
Yeah, I think it's more satisfying, like visually.
Okay.
And physically.
I think like normally you would want to try.
No, dude.
What in the world?
This is not what I meant when I said let's get weird.
Okay, hold on.
What?
I gotta turn the camera so
No.
Okay.
I got it.
Oh,
what
my God.
in the fuck? Dude, what is this thing? Purple Kool-Aid? It's a Go Tigers.
Oh, my God. Very appropriate for you,
Look at
too,
me.
by the way.
I'm Samantha.
I mean, you got to drink that with a straw. So I guess you should probably describe that for everybody who's listening and not watching.
It is a novelty large half-gallon of some sort of sweet purple drink in a like half-gallon margarita glass. You know what it reminds me of? You seen the old Celebrity Jeopardy skit? Look, it's a big hat. It's funny.
Oh, yeah.
It's a big hat.
Old Norm Macdonald.
Yeah. It's a big fucking drink. It's funny because how fucking big it is. It's like who's old boy from the Commanders this year? Bijan Robinson, right? Who had the big hat that everybody fell in love with, and his friend had the big hat company, and then everybody started wearing big hats again. This football.
Yeah,
this
for
is
sure.
The alcohol equivalent of that. It's purple night here, baby, and so we're instead of smoking on that purple, we're sipping on that purple.
Yeah. Tigers are national champions.
Oh my God.
We're doing this show as the championship celebration. Actually, championship celebration LSU set to get underway in about 20 minutes from right now as we're doing this live. So shout out to everybody for watching, for hanging out with us. We appreciate you for being here. And, of course, as always, shout out to our friends here at Oliver Twist for hosting us. So you got that. Hold on. So we have a lot of alcohol on the table. First of all, I got we'll talk baseball. We've done it a bunch, but who cares? It's kind of a celebratory day.
Yeah, definitely.
So I won this bottle of Stag Jr. in a raffle, the Ducks Unlimited raffle. I don't love Stag Jr. I have oddly, in 3 different raffles, won a bottle of Stag Jr. It's like the only fucking bottle I can ever win in a raffle is one I like. But here's the good thing about it, is that this is a very sought-after bottle, so I've been able to trade this. Every time I've gotten a Stag Jr., I've been able to trade it for something that
the juice has some juice.
Yes, that I really wanted. Now, this I'm very excited about. This is
the Willet Purple Top?
This is the Willet Purple Top.
Look at me. And let me guess, it's the weeded version.
No.
Damn it. Fuck.
This is the 10-year that you almost creamed over the last time we were here.
Oh, yeah, that was
And you're
incredible.
like, this is the best whiskey. This is what we had, was the Willet 10-year.
Hey, it's a purple night.
Purple Top.
Yeah, can we get a second straw
Is this one mine? Wait, no, is this one mine?
No, we need to get a second
What is this
straw.
here? What am I drinking? Oh, it's the same thing. You just got an obnoxiously large one.
Cheers.
I think that got into the I think that got into the shot.
No, it definitely did. Oh my. Hey, y'all, cheers. Cheers. Go Tigers. Oh, my God.
That's delicious.
It is delicious.
A little candy on the
rim. This will kill me. This will kill me.
If you drink the whole thing.
I can't drink this whole thing. Give Matt a straw, too, and we'll sip it together.
No, I don't want that. Give Chase some.
Yeah, that's
Cliff
true.
some.
We'll figure it out.
There's plenty of people here.
I just want to make sure that the pressure is not on me. I can't, guys. I just got so drunk on Monday. I can't like Wednesday night sit here again and do it all over again.
Why not?
You're right. You know what? The LSU baseball team did it 8 times in 10 days. 8 games
I don't want to hear you complaining.
Let's go.
Good.
You're
Cheers.
right.
Cheers. How much alcohol do you think is in? Not alcohol. How much liquid is that? You think it's 64 ounces? That's probably 60.
Half gallon jumped into my head. Is that too much, though? How many? Oh, bro, we're good. No, this is great. How much? So 14 ounces of vodka. How much total drink?
God.
How much total drink?
It's 60 ounces.
60 ounces, with 14 ounces of vodka.
No, wait. Jerry wants a picture.
Cheers,
whatever.
Jerry!
It's National Championship Day. Do whatever.
Oh, we're good, boys. We're good, dude. We're good, boys.
Oh,
Let's
my
go.
God.
Go Tigers. I love it, Wiggy. Let's go, baby.
Oh, my
Wiggy
God.
always treats us right, dude. Friggin' hooks us up. He has awful opinions about Star Wars, but he's pretty sharp everywhere else.
All right. Brendan Huff feels juicy. Bojack Stray Marceau. It looks fine. Randall Offrek. Kobe, what's going on? Kobe said, Matt, touch the chest hairs of T-Bob now.
Do it. Do it.
I'm
Do
very
it for
secure
the
in my
natty.
man. I don't mind touching somebody's chest hair.
I don't know. I used to condition it. I don't condition it anymore.
I shave mine. I'm a hairy person like you. But my wife hates body hair, and it's weird. Like, my whole life, I had never, ever...
Oh, like she, actively doesn't like it.
Yeah, so, in my life, I had really never... shaved my body hair.
Yeah.
Until I met Erica. So I went from the time I was born and started growing hair on my chest and my legs and shit to well, I did.
Well, okay, hold on. I want to explore this a little bit.
I
want to explore this a little bit.
Okay.
So you meet Erica. How deep are you in the relationship when you realize, shit, I got to shave? Was it when y'all got comfortable, or did you pick up on context clues and you were like, if this happens, I need to look like a prepubescent boy?
No. I don't. It's been so long. I don't remember now. Honestly, how long it took or whatever. She just didn't like.
Somewhere along the line, you just learned that she didn't like it, and so yeah.
Yeah. So I shaved my chest hair and all that sort of stuff, and so now I shave my chest hair and my shoulders, my back, and all that sort of stuff.
So one time I shaved my chest hair was junior year spring break of high school, and I don't know. I just felt. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. But then again, the other day, I got hyper burned on the back when I tried to let my 3-year-old get my back with sunscreen like an idiot. So I took a picture of it because I thought it was funny. And then I see I'm just growing random patches of back hair now underneath my shoulder blades. That's what happens when you get old. Gorilla Barbarian.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get
just
old.
right there on my back strap.
Oh, you've never had back hair?
Not really, no. I've had lower back hair, but I've never had the upper back hair.
It gets right here on your...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that happens.
How do you shave that? Do you shave it yourself?
So,
I don't think I have the shoulder flexibility.
This is exactly, I think, what everybody wanted on the National Championship edition of Scone and Tea, and probably what everybody expected. No, so what I do, I have trimmers. And I would have Erica just trim my back.
Okay, yeah.
But sometimes she doesn't like doing it, and it can be time consuming or whatever. So what I do now is she bought me this. There's an extender handle thing.
Oh, okay.
And it's got 3 blades, but it's like that. It's horizontally that long. And so so you do. I think you just I get most of it. So then she just has to do a little touch up later. That's how that's
what's up, dude.
That is what is in fact up.
I'll see if Adam Lastman says, have your wife shave it. If she wants to, she can. I don't care enough. I'll leave it up to her. But I am spending a lot of time at public pools, so now I'm just walking around looking like some sort of pale, chubby, hairy mess.
You just have to decide if you care.
Cheers.
Wait, hang on. I didn't get in it, Natalie.
I don't give a fuck. You know who didn't give a fuck?
Cade
Jordan
Beloso.
Thompson.
Jordan Pop. Yeah,
close. Actually, hey, we got Woodward coming on OTB tomorrow at 8 a.m. and Cade Beloso coming in 9 a.m. on Friday. Turns out tonight, tomorrow morning may be a bit tough for Cade or any of the other players to make it to a 7 to 10 a.m. show.
So y'all are having Cade on the show on Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
9 a.m.
Well, a lot of people have probably heard this already, but have you heard my hot rod story with the booze?
Feed me.
All right. So, 3 years ago, if you've heard this already, I apologize. I'll try to make it quick. So about 3 years ago, Cade's dad, Rodney, a.k.a. Hot Rod, who a lot of the world got to see cooking an alligator on a pit, Hot Rod owns a line of, Cajun seasoning and stuff. It's called Hot Rod's Creole.
Yeah, they're delicious. I've had them.
Hot Rod stuff is great. So he sponsored one of the segments on AFR. I can't remember if it was Tigers of the Pros or something like that. So he did a seg sponsor, which is very common. It is very, very, very expensive to buy an annual live read contract. So what some business will do, if they're not scaled at that level to where you want to have that kind of spend, but you want to be involved in the show, so you do a seg sponsor. And it's good when you have something daily or weekly.
With a
seg.
G,
Yes,
boys.
seg segment. So Hot Rod sponsored a seg on the show. And we got along great, and he knew I loved whiskey, and so he gifts me this bottle of Blanton's Gold. Now, Blanton's, I think a lot of people talk about Blanton's all the time, and
give me some context.
So Blanton's is one of the most popular whiskeys, and part of the reason that it's gotten that way is it's very collectible because there's these horse toppers, and it was the original single barrel. Anyway, it's yes.
Well, no, go ahead.
Anyway, it's very popular. It's a very popular whiskey, and so there are different iterations and expressions of Blanton's. They have Blanton's straight from the barrel, and they got the Blanton's Red Label, which is Japanese. They have Blanton's Gold. Anyway, well, Hot Rod gives me this bottle of Blanton's Gold, and this is it's in this super special display, and there's the bottle, in the displays.
Damn.
You can see that's it opened up, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Let me try to show if I can show y'all this.
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult
show the open
to
one,
show,
maybe. Just show the open one. Maybe.
So there's the bottle, okay, or the casing, and then it opens up beautifully like that. If you can see it. For those listening, I apologize. You can't see it. Anyway.
It looks
here's the
beautiful and regal and equine. And it's got horse racing on it.
So Blanton's is hard to find. Blanton's Gold is even harder to find. And the other thing about it is every bottle of Blanton's has a dump date on it, meaning when they dumped it out of the barrels into the vat to bottle it, right? This was dumped in 1999. So it has been in that case for 24 years. Rodney told me the bottle is older than Cade.
Yeah, obviously.
So he gives me this bottle just as a gift. And I'm like, man, I feel really bad taking this. Because it's you could sell this secondary for thousands of dollars. Literally.
Thousands?
Literally, yes.
I was going to say, even beyond, just something from that time, that's my life almost. That's almost my entire life. Anyway, go on.
So, Blanton's Gold. If you look at Blanton's Gold, you can buy a Blanton's Gold secondary for $250 around there. But the fact that it was dumped in 1999 because it's that old and hasn't been opened, and it's got the casing and everything, it continues to increase in value. So if he wanted to sell this, he could sell this for
because it was even in the box.
This is
any collector's item is massive.
Here's a newer Blanton's Gold. You can tell it doesn't even have the same casing as that old one did. This is $900 right there. So he could easily fetch. Here you go. Here it is. There it is. $18.99.
I hope you gave your boy a couple, a month or two of extra seg spons.
So there's one for sale. This exact one for sale, for $1,900. So I felt bad. He said, "How about this? Save it, and when the Tigers win the national championship, we'll open it together." I was like, okay.
No fucking way, dude.
Now, keep in mind when this is pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So then they obviously have the COVID season. And so in 2019, LSU loses to Florida State in the Super Regional. All right? Then they had the COVID season.
Weren't they really good the COVID year too?
They had their pitching lined up.
Or SEC was about to start, right?
SEC was about to start. You had Cole Henry that year.
Oh, wow.
You had Jaden Hill. Like your pitching was lined up. Anyway, and then they come back in 21, and we know what happened, right? It was the last year for Palmineri, and they go win the Eugene Regional, and then they lose to Tennessee the Supers. Anyway, so and then last year Cade gets hurt, and we know Jay Johnson, and so I know what to do with this bottle, And so when Cade announced to come back, Hot Rod and I, he's like, man, we text all, it's like, man, still got that bottle, whatever. And because Hot Rod does work with us with Hudco as well.
Yeah.
So, I know Hot Rod really well. I know Rodney really well. And I'll be damned, man. All throughout this run, I'm like, holy shit, bro, they're going to do it.
We may actually get to open it.
So, we're talking and everything like that. I had him on the show on AFR. I had Rodney on AFR last week. We talked about it on air. And then, dude,
so you weren't even afraid of jinxing it?
No. So, literally minutes after the national championship, I get pinged with a text from Rodney Beloso about that fucking bottle.
Let's go.
And I
Hot Rod tried to tell you.
But dude,
from the Paris.
But think about that. Of all the things going on in his brain as his son is winning a national, he pinged me about the Blanton's bottle. So I was like, here's what we're gonna do. You and Cade are gonna come in studio. We're gonna open that all together on air and drink it. So I was thinking about doing it Friday. But if you're having Cade on Friday, then I'll pick another day with those guys. I think Cade's got some free time.
Yeah.
I think he's got some free time now.
Yeah. Some well-earned R&R, I would say. I'm sorry. I would have left him.
No, not at all. No. Again, we've got time.
I straight up slid in them DMs. I'm chasing them thick boys. What I'm saying, dog? Us thick boys got to stay together. Thick Boy Summer, print the shirts. You already know. Actually, whoever printed Hayden's shirts, go ahead and make a Thick Boy Summer shirt, because not only is it Thick Boy Summer, but the Travinsky shirts are so comfortable.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought one. They are so freaking comfortable. It's what I wore the first couple games of Omaha.
And Bob Poole said, good evening, Matt, what are you sipping? Well, they brought us these. I don't even know what it is.
They're calling it purple drink.
It's a purple drink.
It seems like it's vodka and some juice.
And T-Bob's is, his is a fountain, and mine is a...
I do not like vodka, though. This is getting vodka-y. Now I'm really thinking of junior year spring break. Junior spring break of high school, not only did I shave my chest, but we went to the Bahamas. I stepped off the plane. Ooh. I was not much of a drinker at time. I started drinking straight vodka on the beach. Next thing I know, the Cajun Cannon's grabbing me out of the surf where I'm floating on my back, and he's throwing me in the room and stuffing a cheeseburger down my face because I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
The Cajun Cannon got him a cheeseburger.
But I blame that on blue Powerade and vodka, and this tastes suspiciously like purple Powerade and vodka. We used to always be like, dude, it'll hit your bloodstream faster.
Oh my God.
The electrolytes, dude. I mean, the feeling that I had, Matt, when it was 2-0 in the top of the first, versus 6-2 in the bottom of the second, is one of the largest disparities of emotion that I've ever had in about 30 minutes or whatever that gap is, right? Because first off, they're talking about how wild Caglione is. I'm like, fuck yes, he hits blows off the bat, Thick Boy Summer. I'm like, oh my God, here we go, dude. But then he fucking mows him down. Did he strike out Cruz? He struck out Tanks.
No, Cruz hit the ball to the warning track and right.
Oh, yes,
that looked like it was going to be a two-run homer, and it's like, Jesus, is this going to be our night?
Yeah, okay, so exactly.
And then he struck out Tommy White and struck out Trey Morgan.
So it felt like a direct continuation of 24-4,
yes, it did,
both offensively and defensively. And at that point, the vibes were so fucking low.
I know.
Now you come out the next inning, and when you get back up to the plate, how exactly did it line up to set? How many outs were there when Jordan Thompson stepped up? One?
No, so it was Dugas walked to lead off the inning.
Yep.
And
I'm trying to remember the exact sequence.
There were no outs because you had first and third.
Okay.
So you had first and third and Thompson singled to the right side, and then the first out. No, I'm sorry, there was one out, and then with one out, Morgan hit the sac fly.
Was there one out when Thompson was up? I guess it doesn't really matter that much. The point is, it felt, again, at that point, 2-0, everything that happened, It felt like a continuation of 24-4, and here comes Jordan Thompson, first and third, and the fear, obviously, was a double play to end the inning, right? He's been struggling 1 for 30. We all know the numbers.
Dugas walked.
Oh, yeah.
Dugas walked. Joe Bear singled. So you had first and third.
Yeah.
And Thompson singled.
Okay, never mind. So no outs. Either way, the fear was
Thompson was erased on Pearson's fielder's choice. So then you had first and third, 1 out for Milazzo, who walked to load the bases. Beloso was hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. Then Cruz walked with the bases loaded.
Tanks
and then
no, Tank singled. It was like our first hit. It was
Tommy
our first
White
hit with the bases loaded.
Tommy White singled, and then and so there was 1 out. It was 4-2, and then Trey Morgan hit the ball, crushed that ball to center field for the sac fly, and it was a 2-strike. It was an 0-2 count as well. And you're like, fuck, are they going to blow this? And it was 0-2, and Trey fouled off some and hit that ball to center field.
So here's what I'll say, though, is just that...
And Trey's strikeout in the first inning was awful. Remember, that was the pitch that was up and in. He swung and
So I never do this. You know the Pitching Ninja on social media? I randomly watch one of his YouTube videos. Yeah, and...
It was great.
They were breaking down that pitch, and from the ump cam, it definitely... I mean, it was crazy that he swung, but... That thing had some fucking tail on it. Like, it looked like
I saw the video.
Yeah, like, he had already started his swing, and then it starts to come at him, and the physics of it are that, like, to avoid, he had to turn his hips, and if you turn your hips, like, you can't avoid breaking your wrist, so...
Drop the bat.
It was almost like the second he even began his swing, there was no checking because he had to avoid getting fucking reamed by it. Yeah. I mean, it was coming at it. But anyway... The point of all of this is to say...
That's why it's tough being a left-handed batter against a left-handed pitcher, because the ball starts coming at you.
Yeah.
And you expect it to sweep across the plate, and when it doesn't sweep across the plate, then it's coming right at you.
Scary, dude.
Yes.
But the point is, when Jordan Thompson stepped into that plate, that was the moment is it going to continue to be what we saw on Sunday? And that's when Jordan Thompson, with all the pressure in the world on him, and shout out the LSU fans who are supporting him there in Omaha, that's when he said, no, not today. He comes up with a big hit, and that's when all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, okay, okay, here we go. And the momentum starts rolling, and then it's 6-2. And 2-0 doesn't matter, and Thatcher Hurd can attack, and like all was right in the world. And you could tell that it was just a different LSU team, a locked-in LSU team. And again, it's Jordan Thompson getting a hit, and it's getting a bases-loaded hit. Those were two big monkeys that it felt like they needed to get off their backs. I think they were like 0 for 6 with the bases loaded in Omaha up to that point.
So shout out to all the LSU fans that cheer for Thompson when he went up to the plate. And fuck all of you morons who shat on that kid on Twitter because you're fucking idiots, and I hate you all.
I just cheers to Thompson for having the mental toughness to be able to sleep that night and process all of that pressure and come out and not just have such a good offensive day, which I guess matters more, but defensively, just fucking stellar. And then how about Jay, Matt? It's like every button that he pressed, even when we questioned it along the way sometimes, it ends up working out in the end. Like, I know a lot of people question the shifting of Thompson and Dugas, but like there were a couple plays this game where it was perfect. It was just a complete validation of every decision that Jay Johnson has made throughout this entire postseason run.
Well, starting Skeens against Tulane was still stupid. That was. I don't even want to have this conversation. That's fine, but other than that, yes, I completely agree.
Other than that, is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Why is that heavy lifting?
Because other than that, takes away all of the 10 reasons that Jay Johnson named for starting him against Tulane.
But they were all bullshit.
But they were his reasons, and you can't trust Jay Johnson and believe what he says at some point. And then not his process led him to that decision, and it's the same process that led him to putting Cade Beloso at the leadoff spot in the championship game.
That's very different.
Yes.
No, trying to just stick to your rotation or whatever is very different than making a decision to lead off Cade Beloso for the first time in his career. That took a lot of balls because, you're literally doing something in the biggest game of your life that this guy has never done before, but for so many reasons that made sense to do because Cade's OPS was higher against lefties than against righties. You knew Caglione was wild, and when he was wild to the arm side, which means you want a lefty there. Beloso also had been so good leaving the yard, so you get him an extra AB.
Exactly. So these are all completely valid reasons, and regardless of how wild you think it is or not,
but it's still hard to do it.
He had just as many reasons for starting Skeens against Tulane.
That's still hard to do it. Justifying the start against Tulane is not justifiable.
And once again,
you can say all you want about
he
whatever.
He believes in psychological advantage. The game ended up being 7-2. He believes in psychological advantage. It's why he didn't start Skeens in the championship.
No. He didn't start Skeens in the championship because he wasn't going to use him unless he needed him.
Because he had 30 pitches. And he said multiple times in the postgame, I did not want to start Paul Skeens and have him come out in the third and give Florida a psychological boon and take away from LSU. So, and then obviously you want to protect him. He's going to be a pro and all that as well. But, that's why you didn't start him despite that 30-pitch kind of count that he was on. And that's why he threw him against Tulane. He wanted to set the tone.
T-Bob. There's a very I don't know. We don't have to go down this road again. But the last, I don't even want to have the conversation yet. It doesn't matter. I never want to talk about that game again.
Good.
It was a bad decision. It worked out. It was a bad decision, but it worked out, so it's fine.
Disagree.
We disagree. Okay. And literally 100% of coaches, other than Jay Johnson, would not have started Paul Skeens. You save your ace for the marble game.
No. You know what's funny?
It's what you do.
You know what's funny? 100% of other coaches in college baseball didn't win a natty this year, too.
Yeah, and Skip Ertman said that he would have started Paul Skeens in game 2, and he would have started her, and then Paul Maneri did, and they've won natties. And that's just how it was an
everybody's process is different.
It was an unconventional. It was a dramatically unconventional move and a very unnecessary risk.
Okay, well, if you take out the latter half,
but that's part of it.
The same could be said exactly about Cade Beloso. A dramatically unconventional move,
because,
like you just
because
said.
Paul Maneri also in the national championship game in 2009 against Texas put Sean Ochinko at first base when he had not played the championship series, and Ochinko went 4 for 5 that day. So coaches have, they understand matchups and hunches and players like that, and all that's very true. But starting Paul Skeens against Tulane, why are we even having this conversation yet? We can just, you disagree, we disagree.
No, I agree. I just feel like you're agreeing. It's just no, whatever. You agree with some of his logic, you don't agree with other of it. I see where he's coming from with all of it. That's all I'm saying. And so we agree to disagree. Because, you're decrying his logic as being, I feel like you're discrediting that he arrived there genuinely.
I am, yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I am.
And I don't see why. I think he legitimately thought that was the best path to victory. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. And I'm saying you disagree with that. I don't. But also, you have a lot more baseball expertise than I do, So I'm automatically going to fall on the side of the logic of the guy who just did what he did and seemed to make perfect decisions even when we doubted him every step along the way, whether it was the Kentucky game that got delayed till now. I mean, just, all the buttons that he pressed.
I don't think we doubted him every step of the way.
Not every step. No, sometimes. That's all I said. Just some decisions along the way. No. A lot of times, you're like, fuck yeah, absolutely. No, not every time. No, sorry. Just sometimes. All I'm saying is I'm a layman, and so I'll defer to him, and his logic for starting Skeens did not feel as objectively wrong as you're presenting. That's all I'm saying. I think there's a bit more gray area there. But I get you. There's a lot of coaches that disagree. But you're right. We're getting bogged down. Let's just agree to disagree. Just because it's fucking awesome. Yes. LSU won the natty. You had, give me perspective here, Matt. Give me perspective on the run, because that's the other thing Coach kept going back to, and that I agree with. It seems like you played nearly the best team you could have at every single step along the way, maybe save for Kentucky.
Clearly, my biggest whiff of the year on this team was even in the beginning of May when they lost the series to Auburn and people were melting about the bullpen and all that shit. I went on a rant, and fuck, you know me long enough and well enough. Sometimes I just get emotional.
Dude, I do the same shit.
And I went on a rant, and I was like, I'll paraphrase. I said, "You're all fucking stupid. They can still win a national championship." That's what I said in so many words. I said, but my feeling on this team, I very much felt they could win a championship because of all the reasons. They hit. They had Paul Skeens. They were going to play in winners brackets. I did not think they had the pitching to come out of the losers bracket because of the way Omaha is now formatted, where you have to play 4 games in 4 days.
Yeah.
Under the old format, with 2 extra rest days built in, It would have been very doable.
Yeah.
Because you could have had Skeens with 2 extra days in the first game of the championship series and then save Floyd. It would have been very doable. But under this format, I didn't think it was possible. You had to get Nate Ackenhausen to give you 6 shutout innings and Griffin Herring to take the ball and completely slam the door against Wake Forest out of the bullpen when it looked like that was going to be the night where this was it. You beat Tennessee, which was cool. Ackenhausen did the cool thing.
I needed that Tennessee dub.
No doubt. Look,
I needed that because I went through it.
If they had ended your season, that would have sucked.
Yeah, and you beat them 3-2 on the year. Yeah, they get to Big Dick U, and it's hard to beat a team that good 4-1. I mean, they beat them 4-1 in a 7-game series. That should not be overlooked. So yes, I needed that Tennessee. Then you lose Wake Forest, and I'm pissed, but I'm kind of like, all right, let's just see what happens.
Well, I'm talking about the second Tennessee game. The first Tennessee game was a no-doubter because you had Skeens going.
I'm being done. You're right. Yeah. You the second wait.
You pitched Skeens on Saturday against Tennessee and beat them.
Oh, yeah, I needed to eliminate. I was freaking out about the second Tennessee game, yes.
The second Tennessee game. No, that's fine. The second Tennessee game is when Ackenhausen started.
Yeah. No, it was terrifying. That was the most intense I actually felt the entire time until the Monday championship game.
The hope there, and you had Ackenhausen going against Beam, who was the SEC Freshman of the Year a season ago, and that was never in doubt, which is kind of incredible. I mean, that was the game I thought, I'm like, before it started, I said, look, you can beat Tennessee on Saturday, but if you fall in the loser's bracket and you come back and have to play Tennessee again, you're going to face Drew Beam against whoever, which ended up being Nate Ackenhausen, and I didn't love that matchup. LSU won it. I'm like, going into that game, I said, just win this one so you can end Tennessee's season. That would be
That was me too.
And then at some
you're not
point,
going to make it through Wake at that point. You just don't have.
You got to beat Wake twice, and it's probably it's baseball. It's probably not going to happen. So beating Tennessee was awesome, but then the next day you came back and you started Javen Coleman. And it didn't. And look, he couldn't make it out of the second, right? And so you're like, well, fuck. This was the inevitability that we were waiting on. Honestly, it's what happened in the 24-4 game against Florida, except against Wake the first time, Griffin Herring grabbed the ball and stopped it.
You know what's crazy? I think I erased in my brain that Javen Coleman started that game.
Bro, Javen Coleman, then Blake Money. It was it was in the second inning. And in that situation, because remember what happened, you start Coleman, and then they go to Money, and Money didn't record an out, or maybe he got one out. So, and then they had they had a lefty up. I guess it had to be Wilkin. There's so many games. I'm going through
8 games and 10 games. That's what I'm saying. I eliminated that. I don't remember that. I don't remember Javen Coleman starting.
Wait, that is crazy. So Coleman started. Money comes in. Money can't get you out of the second, right? So now you've already burned 2 of the guys that are going to give you length.
So Wake got 2 in the second. Yeah. Okay.
So it was terrible. Coleman couldn't get anybody out. Then he walked 2 guys. They bring in Money. Money gives up the single to Hawk on a 2-strike pitch, and it's like.
And then Herring comes up with a 3-2 full count K.
It was to Kurtz, the big 6'5" first baseman who hit 24. Yeah. So he strikes out Kurtz. So at that point in the game, you're in the second inning, and Jay was playing a matchup because you're down 2-0. You can't fall any further into the hole. So he's already playing matchup. So now you've burned Coleman and Money, 2 guys you thought could give you length in this game, and they're burned. And you're in the second inning with Griffin Herring.
I forgot
and you're in the second inning with Griffin Herring, brother, and you got nothing behind him. What? Oh, look at this.
What is it? Okay.
Come on.
All right, here we go.
What do we have?
This is an original.
Wait, hand him your mic. Yeah, hand him your mic.
Put this on.
All right.
This is Josh Duke.
This is all my dreams come true. I can actually hear myself talk. This is literally my dream come true.
You should come this way so you're on camera.
Oh my God!
Swing between us. Swing between us. Josh, swing between us.
Well, I'm attached.
There you are.
All right. This is not my goal, actually. So this is a drink off of the original Oliver Twist menu almost 11 years ago.
Oh.
So this drink was created by one of our original friends at Oliver Twist, Marvin Allen, who is a bartender of 30 years at the Carousel Bar at Hotel Monteleone.
All right. Shout out.
Shout out Marvin Allen
Shout out Marvin.
and Monteleone in the Carousel Bar.
Shout out Marvin. Okay.
And this is
What's it called?
This is the most pinky out fancy national championship celebrating purple and gold drink in history.
I love it. Check that out. Cheers.
So it's called the Eudora's Purple Hat. And it is a drink that we might not feature these days, but it is quite delicious.
It is delicious.
It is. It is.
What's in it?
Hold on. Time
What's in
out.
it?
Wait. There we go. All right.
Pinky out. What's in it?
So it is. It's
Everclear.
It's a citrus vodka, Giffard Miroir.
Okay.
Which is, I guess, French for a blend of blackberries and raspberries. It's a black raspberry liqueur.
I'm not mad at you at all.
Then from
like
Giffard Miroir, we go to Creme de Violette, which is an amazing classical liqueur.
I just fell asleep.
Then lemon juice, sugar, simple syrup, and egg white. Egg white makes it look
That's the
super
foamy,
pinky
the
out
frothy.
part.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out. All right.
So, national champs, fancy, purple and gold.
Love it.
Pinky out. Cheers. Go Tigers.
Love. Go Tigers.
Who remembers the All That skit with Keenan in the tub?
Le fromage is off my throat.
Nope. Anyway, so Griffin Herring. Basically, you in this we're gonna remember. Here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like that got lost in the shovel. Like I've talked about so many moments, and I didn't even remember.
We are gonna remember. We're gonna remember Trey Morgan's flip against Wake Forest to Milazzo. We are gonna remember Tommy White's walk-off homer. To send LSU to the championship series. We're gonna remember
the tying homer.
We're gonna remember White and Beloso's home runs in the championship series in game one. We'll remember the fact
17 Ks.
we're going to remember that LSU lost 24-4 and came back and blew them out the next day. But a lot of the details of the 18-4 win are going to be lost. Some people remember that Thompson struggled and came through with a big hit. Like that's what people remember. But Ackenhausen going 6 innings. Griffin Herring's 4 and 2/3 of shutout ball with 6 strikeouts. Like we're not gonna remember Paul Skeens' first game in Omaha.
Just
against
shut down Tennessee, no problem.
We might remember what happened in the 8th with Trey Morgan getting thrown out at home in the loss to Wake Forest. You know what I mean? But like a lot of the other detail, it's gonna be lost, man. I mean, I've watched LSU my whole life, and I've followed them so closely in Omaha, and I can tell you results of games. I can't tell you a ton of detail about it. Like
that's when Herring with the 4 and 2/3, and Guidry comes in, gives you 1 1/3, and then Cooper came in and shut down.
Hey, it's Taylor Calandro.
Man, what a run!
Did you hear Taylor Calandro's story?
What an unbelievable run! No, Taylor looks great though. Lost a lot of weight.
So
Peloton boy, me and Taylor.
So Taylor, get this. Here he is.
Yo, T, what up, bro? You just got all the Peloton?
A while ago.
Yeah, see, there you go, dude.
So Taylor and his dad, after LSU wins on Saturday, they get up at 2 in the morning, go to the airport, fly to Kansas City, rent a car, drive 2 hours to Omaha.
Wow.
So it's probably like noon. You're at Rocco's doing Jello shots. You've already been up for 10 hours. It's fucking noon. You know what I mean? You go to this
Sunday.
2 o'clock day game, sunshiny. You're drunk and hot.
The day game to decide a championship fucking feels awful. Very good on LSU pushing this to a night game.
You're drunk, you're in the sun, and you get the shit kicked out of you 24-4. So you know what Taylor and Mark Calandro did?
They go home?
They went home.
No.
Idiots.
Oh, that sucks, dude. That's
so good.
That's rough.
So good.
That's a rough one. But hey, you know what? All's well that ends well, dude.
Alex G, you got to remember Pearson's catch in game 1. Like, that's my beautiful catch. But that's my point.
Which one? I remember Pearson. Oh, in game 1 of the
fuck, dude.
No. I thought he meant game 1 of Omaha.
Oh no, the championship.
Over the left. Yes. Like, if not for the Trey Morgan flip and how incredible that was and how stylish it was, that would be the defensive play that we're talking about. But Trey Morgan, kind of just kind of overshadows it. No, I mean, the game was over. The game was over if Josh Pearson doesn't make that play. Again, validation of Josh Pearson being where he's at this point in the season. And what I love, Matt, I mean, you know better than I do. Where's everybody coming from, right? Milazzo from Baton Rouge, Pearson, West Monroe, Peloso's from the Parish. Where's Gavin Guidry from?
Barb, Lake Charles.
Okay, so good. So we got our West represented, the Lake Charles powerhouse.
Dugas from Houma Christian.
Okay, so it's like, a little bit of Houma. So we had Houma in there as well. So they have the MLB superstars. They've got the senior talent. They've got the freshman, younger talent. Yeah. And they're literally pulling from every single part of the state. Like, that's championship roster construction when it comes to how to win a national championship at LSU. And it's so cool to see the entire state. Oh, sorry, Trey Morgan, 504, right? Who else is from John Curtis? Who's from John Curtis?
On this team?
Yeah, I thought there was somebody from John Curtis.
Hayden Travinsky was from Airline, North Louisiana.
Either way. Yes, another 318. Either way, you're like everybody gets to cheer for their own hometown hero that had their own huge moment to culminate in this beautiful championship that brings the entire state together and these random pockets of LSU fanhood from throughout the world. Like, I loved the story in the Advocate today about, I think it was like a Catholic high, maybe somebody else trip. They're in Italy. And a bunch of random LSU fans gather on the porch of an Italian hotel at 1 a.m. to watch Game 3 of the national championship.
Pretty
and
cool.
They're celebrating an LSU Tiger national championship at the Hotel Assisi or something. I don't know. It's awesome. That's why championships. That's one of the coolest parts about it. It's a community. It's what it does. It brings everyone together. And just think about how much fun this week has been because of it. Yeah. And think how awful it would have been without it.
It's the unfortunate part is that there are going to be nuance and plays that were so significant that are lost. But you also played. Fuck, man, you played 8 games.
Okay, Gabe Losa's John Curtis. I said Parrish. Oh, I said Parrish. That's why I said who's from John Curtis.
Well, he went to Curtis.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, he was the Gatorade Player of the Year. They actually. That was the game that Curtis no-hit Catholic High in the state championship game.
Shit.
Cade senior year. Yeah. I mean, a no-hitter in the state championship game. I don't remember, but get through a no-hitter. You want to talk about like a memory you'll tell your grandkids? Hey, I threw a no-hitter in the state championship game.
As we were talking about legendary championship performances.
So you go play 8 games in 10 days.
You don't even have pulse schemes for the championship series.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? I bitched about
Drew Boogie, Braden Jobert from Slidell.
Oh, there we go. I bitched about the setup, saying, it's a fundamentally flawed setup when you could have the best pitcher in the country not even available to throw in the championship series because of the, how it all falls. And I think there is some validity to that conversation, but if you wanted to argue against that point, the TV ratings were higher than ever. And maybe that wasn't because of timing, like because you had great storylines, you had Wake Forest and LSU, everybody knew was the best the entire year, but without a break, the whole thing did seem to keep its momentum from a viewership standpoint.
That's absolutely a thing. I'm surprised the number did what it did, considering it was a blowout. But previously, and I would need to check to see if this is the case, but I know at the time it was, and it stood for a long time. But when LSU Texas played for the national championship in 2009, that was the most watched college baseball game in history, and that record stood and may have stood until Monday. But you had 2 blue blood college baseball programs that people watch when they're on, and it was prime time on a Wednesday night, and it was a winner take all sort of thing. So,
but it wasn't just. But it was. I mean, the final game was great, but across the entirety of Omaha, viewership was way up. And it's also part of a larger trend where sports are way up and college sports specifically are way up. But it's, if you're an LSU fan, why that should make you excited. What's one of the main things that I always talk about when it comes to how has
I don't listen when you talk.
How has Alabama created the perpetual success machine that they have?
They have Nick Saban?
Yes, and because of that, they are constantly playing on the big stage. What does that equate to? It equates to free advertising in front of millions of eyeballs. Well, like Jay Johnson said, I may have lost a month on the recruiting trail, but there's probably no better pitch that I could give out there than what this team just did right here.
So Fonzarelli said, when do we hear, that's a good segue, to when do we hear about who's gone, who's coming back? Do we have to wait all the way until the draft?
You know better. I don't know this.
I mean, I'll run through this a little bit if you're really interested. I mean, it may be a little sort of like nerd out type thing.
No, I'd be down. I'd be down to hear this.
Okay.
I love this team, so I want to know,
Okay. All right. So, all right, let's start with the absolutes, right? So you had 3 guys that are out of eligibility. Jack Merrifield, Cade Beloso, Gavin Dugas. They're all done. Okay, they're out of eligibility. So those 3 are gone. You had no other seniors on.
Merrifield's gone. I had no idea.
Yeah. You had no other seniors on this team. Okay?
Wow.
So you look at the junior class. Dylan Cruz is obviously gone.
Yep.
Jordan Thompson's gone.
Yep. Ty Floyd. Right?
Ty Floyd is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Morgan.
Yep.
Paul Skeens. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you Christian Little, Blake Money are gone as well.
Yeah.
Because they would likely have a diminished role next year if they come back, and they'll get drafted based on ability.
Yeah.
And they're going to sign and start their professional careers.
Why sit another year not playing that much when you can go ahead and start your minors grind and see where it is?
Well, the other thing to keep in mind also,
the other thing
to keep in mind also is you lose your leverage.
You lose leverage because you can't come back after that.
And so we'll talk about this because some people say, well, any chance Trey Morgan or Ty Floyd would come back? Like, no, literally zero. Kramer told me.
And they both had great Omaha runs, by the way. 2 of the heroes of Omaha and Ty Floyd, Trey Morgan.
Both of those guys. Ty Floyd, I think, is now a second-round pick.
Wow.
And I think Trey Morgan will go in round 3.
Wow.
I think after the first 2, Skeens and Cruz, Ty Floyd will be the next pick, and then Trey Morgan after him. So they're gone. Like they're gone. I'm interested in guys that will have a upperclassman that'll have a decision to make. Braden Joubert is a redshirt junior, so he could come back for a 5th year if he wanted to, and he could. But my guess is Braden Joubert leaves. He's a dead pull hitter with a lot of power, and it was great that he sort of remade his body this year and turned into a very viable right fielder to show that he can play in the outfield. He's more than just a guy who's going to run into one every now and again. Now, his inability to hit the breaking pitch in Omaha was a problem. He damn near hit for the cycle in the first game, then didn't hit again until the home run in the 24-4 blowout. He had a home run to dead center as they grooved him a fastball.
Again, I got my memories confused. I thought he hit that in the 18-4 blowout.
Well, we're probably not watching the end of the game on Sunday. The 24-4.
No, I bailed.
He hit a home run to dead center at the end of that game. And then in the championship game, he hit the home run, which was the final score for LSU. The 18th.
Okay,
that's the one he yanked and pimped it. Just stared at it. Anyway, I think Joubert's going to go. Milazzo, Bryce Collins, Hayden Travinsky are all 4th-year guys, redshirt juniors.
Man, a couple of catchers, too, and you already got beat out by a freshman preseason.
I had Milazzo on AFR today. I asked him point blank. He said he hasn't made a decision yet.
That man, by the way, Alex Milazzo, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that man loves LSU. Every interview I've watched him this year, WAFB had a really good post-championship YouTube video. I randomly ended up watching them roam in the field for 20 minutes immediate post-game, and everything that Alex Milazzo has said this year, that is who, as a young athlete, you should aspire to be from a attitude and leadership standpoint. All he ever talked about was control what you can control, continue to give your all for the team. Don't get so wrapped up in your own individual struggles that you become and he didn't say it as many words. Those are the concepts that he was getting at. He is just so team first and LSU first. And hearing him talk about the dream of putting on the purple and gold and winning that championship, wearing that uniform, I am so happy for Alex Milazzo. Sorry, go ahead.
And he made himself some money, too, because he actually hit this year. He ended up hitting 289.
How about the diving stop, too? Wasn't that early on when it was still a little sketchy?
He went like Superman style.
Yeah.
Into left-hander batter's box. So as a freshman, he hit 186. As a sophomore, he hit 135. He was an out.
Jay Johnson saved him.
Last year, he only played in 12 games because of the knee injury. Jay, yes, and I'm not going to completely discredit that, but I will.
It's his hard work at the end.
I will also give a major hat tip, and I know this. He would never say it, but I will tell that
Ryan Terrio?
Terrio worked a ton with
That
Alex
makes sense.
Milazzo. And for as goofy as he is, one of the sincerely amazing traits that Terrio has is his ability to simplify the game and explain it in a way that people can understand. And what they worked on a ton before last season was this happened with Jordan Thompson, by the way. And you heard Jay sort of alluded to it, but not in so many words, after the championship game when he said he got out of himself offensively. What Jordan was doing, and it was very obvious what Jordan was doing, is he was so scared to strike out because he was struggling so much that he was so far ahead of everything because he was trying to make contact early in the count to not strike out. It's like, I don't care if I get out, I just want to strike out. That's why when he pulled the ball, he was pulling the ball like into the third base dugout.
Yeah.
He was so far ahead of everything. And so then when they throw him breaking balls, he would wave over the top of it because he was so far in front of everything. And that was the part with Alex. So what they worked a lot on was middle away. Let the ball travel so you see it, and then don't be afraid to go middle away. So when you watch Milazzo hit, like everything he did was middle away.
Yeah.
And it took. And Jordan did the same thing. Now look, his first single, he pulled. But if you and I tweeted this on Sunday during the game, and some people shit on me because they didn't know what they were looking at. But if you go back to the championship game, Jordan was 0 for 4. But the first AB, he worked a full count, which was really good to see. It's like you were willing to hit with 2 strikes and foul pitches off and be patient, and he spit on a couple of splitties, which was great. I mean, it was like, okay.
I remember being happy because he was just getting the pitch count up.
And he had 2 ABs where he pumped balls to center field. And one of them, if you remember, Langford made a fucking dead sprint catch in the alley. And like, if it wasn't the guy who's going to be the 3rd pick in the draft, he doubles against Florida on Sunday. And then he just crushed another one. It was just a giant ballpark, and he hit it to center, and it was a long out. But you could tell he was being more patient, like he was coming into himself again. So when Jay said afterwards, like he talked to him, he said, "No, I'm good." Like I believed him because it was like you could tell, you could see on Sunday offensively it was coming. Now defensively he made the errors, and that sucks, and I get it. But he'd been really good defensively before that. Anyway, this was a really weird tangent that we got down about hitting, but we were talking about the roster. Do you want to go back to this?
Yeah, go back to Milazzo.
Okay.
He has a decision to make.
And then get questions in if you'd like to. We'll because we started a little late today. We'll go, I guess, a little longer. So those are the redshirt juniors that'll have a decision to make. I was told about a month ago Travinsky was leading toward coming back. He can come back for a 5th year if he wants, and he's a guy who could certainly DH, catch, play first base. There's a lot of things he could do on the team next year.
He would seem to have a valuable enough bat to force his way into the lineup. No? He should line up to be one of your best 9 hitters on the team.
I think he could line up to be kind of like Beloso was this year, who DH'd and
he can catch in big spots if he has to. I mean, he's not the framer that Milazzo is, like we talked about, but he had some other defensive stats that were nice. That would be awesome if Travinsky came back. Everybody feels more comfortable when Daddy's home.
So then your sophomores, Josh Pearson's back, Thatcher Hurd's back, Tommy White's back. Now this is where you really get into a lot of questions, right? So does Sam Dutton come back? He might transfer out. I think that's a very real possibility. Josh Stevenson has already transferred out. Caleb Appleby we didn't see this year because of injury. He's a JUCO guy who I would assume is back, but didn't pitch this year. Javen Coleman is a redshirt sophomore. He's 3rd-year guy. And I think Coleman and Taylor are going to be interesting. So Javen Coleman could come back. He could sign a pro deal. He could transfer. He's a 3rd-year guy, so he's draft eligible. Obviously, he came on late this year coming back from the Tommy John. But I'll tell you that, in my opinion, the biggest decision to make is Grant Taylor. Because Grant Taylor is a draft-eligible sophomore. He was going to be your number 2 in the rotation this year behind Paul Skeens.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a dog this year, right?
He was awesome. In fall, and I always throw this caveat because you got to remember in fall, Paul Skeens wasn't yet Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
But in fall, Grant Taylor was on par with Paul Skeens. Like they were what and what as far as the best pitcher in the fall. And of course, Skeens then used the pitching lab and had a pitching regimen instead of the Air Force regiment and all that stuff that turned him into what he became. But Grant Taylor could sign a pro deal as a draft eligible sophomore. And I asked a scout buddy this weekend, and I said, where would he go? He'd say he'd probably make about 800 if he came out this year. He'd probably make about 800 to sign and just continue his rehab and go into a professional organization. Or he could come back, try to dominate, and if he does, he could be a first rounder and make $2-3 million. Ooh. So it's like that's the decision he has to make. Now the risk is you come back to LSU, you're not ready, you don't pitch well, and then you lose value. So Grant Taylor's got a big decision to make. I think his is the biggest decision to make of anybody on the roster.
I don't know if I'm being objective, but it feels like there's enough there to bet on yourself, and it's not too much. Like, regardless of results, it's not. I don't think that's me just saying that as a fan who wants him back. Now I get it. Turn out $800K would be incredibly tough. Like I agree, but where would he be drafted for $800K? What round would that be?
Around 2 or 3.
What if you get drafted in 4 or 5? What are you making then? Like 400?
No, less than that.
Like 200.
Let's see.
It doesn't really matter. We don't need to get bogged down here.
Well, no. I want to remind you also that like slot values are sometimes negotiated. So you have teams like every team. For those that don't know how it works, like every team has a bonus pool. So you have this one lump sum of money that you have to spend on your first 10 round picks. And there's a slot value associated with each, but sometimes they negotiate players to take less, or players negotiate and they get more. And there's a lot of different things that can factor into that. So, for example, let's see. Forgive me. These slot values have really gone up. So let me correct myself. So the Pirates have the number 1 pick. Slot value is $9.7 million. Second pick for the Nationals is 8.9. So just for context, if you get into round 2, this is pick number 40 because you have like the competitive balance round and you have other weird shit in there mixed in. But if you get to round 2, which is pick number 40, the slot value is 2.1.
Oh.
So if you were talking about $800K, you'd be talking about round 3.
I see it.
Mid round 3. In around pick 90 maybe. Pick 90 is 760.
I'm a believer that unless you're just out, or at least in football, if you're in this situation and unless you're just done with college and you want to move on, if you're a beast, fucking bet on yourself and go get paid. Like Grant Taylor, I don't know where his head's at, but there's a legitimate conversation that the best path forward for him, and I'm sure Jay will be pitching this as well to him. Is to return.
So Justin Marquez asked a good question. He said, how long are those first contracts for? That's not the contract. That's just your bonus. That's the bonus pool. That's just your bonus to sign. When you play in the minor leagues, you don't make shit. Like minor league money is like below the poverty line, but you sign to get your bonus money up front. But one other thing to keep in mind, there's taxes and you have agent fees. So if you're going to give your agent whatever it be,
in the NFL,
4%,
it's like
6%,
2 or 3%.
Whatever the agent fee is, you're going to pay an agent fee and you're going to pay taxes. So, like, even on $1 million, maybe you sit on $600K of the $1 million by the time you're after taxes, agent fees. So, it is something else to consider. Like, how much are you actually going to put in your pocket?
But I say the same thing in football. If you're a third rounder with the potential to be a first rounder, I say you come back and bet on yourself. But I get that it's different and everything. But that's All right. Anyway. Anybody else, or is that it in terms of decisions to be made?
Well, then you go into the freshmen. And so, I mean, that's going to be the really interesting part of this team next year is because you'll have all these guys, like some of whom you saw, like Gavin Guidry, is he a two-way guy?
Yeah.
Or do they move him to the middle infield and he doesn't pitch?
Oh, wow, that'd be crazy. Imagine closing out Omaha your freshman year and then not pitching again.
Brady Neal's going to be back. Will probably be your starting catcher. Bear Jones is probably your starting first baseman next year. Paxton Kling is your starting center fielder next year. There's a bunch of guys we didn't even get to see, like Jaden Newt and Aiden Moffitt, Nick Bronzini, who's a left-handed pitcher, Mick Paul, Zeb Rudell. I mean, there's so many. I don't think Chase Shore is going to pitch next year. I mean, he had his Tommy John in the middle of the season, and that's a 12, 18-month recovery.
Damn.
So, like, you know, if you get to the point where he does pitch, I mean, it's late in the season. You know, I don't know that he pitches next year.
Did we go over Garrett Edwards and miss it?
I was just about to say that's why Garrett Edwards isn't going to come back.
Damn.
So Garrett Edwards isn't going to pitch next year. So if he's not going to pitch next year, why does he come back? You go sign and you get what you can. You continue your rehab in a professional organization, and they work you back as they see fit. There's no reason for Edwards to come back because he's not going to pitch. And
it's fucking brutal.
It's the same thing with Shores, yeah. And imagine, like, LSU didn't have Edwards, Shores, or Grant Taylor this year.
Well, that's like, I think there's another quote that Jay had after the game where he's like, I believe that we lost 3 big league pitchers, and you don't win national championships when you lose 3 big league pitchers.
Yeah. Real quick, the other juniors we didn't talk about that I should have mentioned, Riley Cooper and Nate Ackenhausen.
Hefty lefties, how could you forget him?
Like, both of those guys could come back, and both could leave. So I don't know what those guys are going to do. I don't know that either of them has a real pro future.
Yeah.
A lot of guys want to give it a go and respect. That's cool. And if you won a national championship and you decide this is it, awesome. But
it's the other piece in all of this, right? Riley Cooper it's got to be real tempting for him to. Unless he just, and then look, maybe he's just one of those guys that just loves his life right now, everything is, but like his legend as a college pitcher is as high as you can possibly get it. I mean, he just came in throughout the tournament, but especially throughout Omaha, and was somehow, against all odds, your shutdown closer that just got automatic fucking outs in the highest pressure situations when you needed him most, despite every time he gets out there, the TV flashing that he has like a 4.7 ERA or like a 5.3 or whatever it was, but he was fucking automatic when it mattered most. So that's one of those things where I don't know if he thinks about it this way, because a lot of times to be a great athlete, you don't. But from my perspective, I'm like, ooh, do you go out on top, or do you just love it so much here that, you want to say you and Jay Johnson, or boy, like you want to stick around for another year?
Stephen Fry said thoughts on Kling. Jay always plugged him in late defensive purposes. He was non-existent at the plate.
Oh, Kling's going to be a beast, dude. He's had to learn how to hit in conference, right?
So Paxton Kling was hitting over 300 pre-conference. They got into the SEC, and he started striking out literally every other at-bat in conference play was a strikeout. So that's just an adjustment for a young hitter to be able to hit elite pitching like that. But defensively, he's a professional center fielder. He's got the glove, the arm, the speed. He's just, the hit tool has to come, and it will. I mean, and remember, Kling is a draft eligible sophomore next year as well. And so, like, there are, if I look, hold on, like there's I think it was maybe Keith Law. Keith Law, before the season started, had Thatcher Hurd as the number 2 prospect for next year, and had
Paxton Kling
like number 20. This isn't Keith Law.
So this is how that ESPN article of how the LSU roster became better than the entire Mets farm organization came about.
Yeah.
Is because of guys like Paxton Kling. God, we haven't even talked about Thatcher Hurd, dude. What a legendary performance by Thatcher Hurd.
So this one at something called Future Star Series has Thatcher Hurd 24. And I'll find it in here somewhere.
You know, you control F.
Kling 58.
Look, control F and then type Kling.
But no, I already saw that. That's
okay. Well, what do you want to find though? I'm saying what?
No, I wanted to find the one that had him number 20.
Either way, my point is, if you ever want to find anything on a fucking website, just press control F and then type it in.
Thank you. Let me see. And then Connor Griffin's part of next year's class as well. That's going to be fascinating.
Here's the deal. I don't give a fuck. Like, After this year, you can be if you want to. No, like what I'm saying. Sorry, right? I need to finish the statement. Fucking purple drink. If you love recruiting, follow it, get excited about it, Matt. But for people like me, it's actually kind of nice to be a little recruiting agnostic until we see who shows up, because I now have implicit trust in Jay Johnson, right? Like, I know he's going to put together a great roster. He's going to dominate the transfer portal. He's going to dominate high school recruiting.
Yes.
And so whoever shows up at the end, I'm going to then look at it and be like last year I did that. I'm like, holy fuck, this guy's number one is Michigan State. This guy's number one. This guy, and it just went down. You're like, oh, my God, look at this thing. And so, yeah, it's like you can kind of just chill and then trust in Jay, and in the end, it'll be great.
It's a weird balance because you have to measure skill and signability.
Yes, which is, the oddest part of baseball recruiting. How about
like, are they actually going to show up? Is this a Jello shot?
A Jello shot. Now we're in Omaha, boys.
Oh, my God.
Let's go. First Jello shot of Omaha for me. I don't think I've taken one.
Oh, my God. Who would do this? You can do both of them.
No, you got to finger it, dude. Come on, bro. You can't have me do it alone. Finger that thing. Finger that thing. Scoop it out. Scoop it out.
God damn it. Fucking Jello shots. You got to be kidding me.
You didn't finger it, dude. You got to taste. That actually has alcohol in it. That tastes awful. You got to finger it. You got to finger it. Scoop your finger in there. Bro, you got to take a Jello shot. People took 68,888 of these. You can't take one of them. And you can't take one?
I don't want. That's not good.
No, it tastes awful, but you got to do it for the boys, dude.
For what boys?
For the proverbial boys, the metaphorical boys. It's the gender-inclusive boys. All of the boys. All the Tiger fans around the world. Everybody listening on Scone and T. Everybody watching on YouTube. You can't finger a Jello shot for the boys.
I did a fully clothed belly flop and drank Van Winkle Lot B12 out of a bottle.
You took your hat off. Okay? So either you finger this Jello shot.
Jeans, socks.
Or you're letting down the boys. Yeah, but you took your Hutco hat off. You know, I don't know what to tell you, dude.
My Jordans were way more valuable than my Hutco.
Look, man, the devil's in the details. Just finger that shot real quick.
And I don't even mind that if I get the hat wet, but I knew I was going to put it back on for the rest of the broadcast.
Dude, you got to suck it down.
I think you should do it. I think you need to pick me up.
No, I know.
I think you need to pick me up. No,
I just did mine.
I know you did, and I need you to pick me up is what I need. Because we're boys, and boys pick each other up when others are feeling down.
I'm not doing it. I'm disappointed in you, man.
How about this?
We're like Dylan Cruz and Tommy Tanks right now. Come on, I thought you were batting like 600 when I'm on there.
No, I'm not. I'm batting 120 when you're not on base.
Let's go. Figure it out.
I just struck out. I need you to get the hit.
No, look, Stephen Frey. Come on, Stefan Frey. Excuse me. Come on, Matt. Just finger the thing.
I would say Stephen Fry.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Stefan's a little fancy pronunciation.
Have you been keeping questions or no?
What? No. $5 super chat from our guy Dane Bergeron.
What's up, Dane?
What's happening, Dane? Thank you for your service, legend of the game. We need to have a Jello shot challenge that Don wants for a big game in football season. No, we do not. There we go. Yeah. Hey! There we go for the gender-inclusive boys. Let's fucking go, boys.
That's terrible.
It's so bad. I told you it was bad.
You know what's amazing?
But I like that one because that has alcohol. Normally it tastes good, and there's just no alcohol in them whatsoever.
You know what's amazing? How did the Jello shot challenge in Omaha become a thing? Like, God bless those Rocco's people
marketing.
That they made. But I don't even know that if you really legitimately asked those people,
yeah, that's fair.
Did you think this was going to become what it is? They'd be like, fuck, man.
No, but somebody put up the whiteboard. You know what I'm saying?
But even still,
somebody's like, oh, dude, let's fucking keep score. Like, I'm not saying they were like, guys, this will result in 70,000 shots by one school being bought. But somebody at a certain point was like, oh, dude, we should, like, fucking keep score.
Even still, LSU wasn't in the College World Series last year, and I still was looking at that stupid Twitter account.
Yeah.
Is the point. Like,
I'm not saying that the person that said it ever expected to become that, but they still deserve credit for having the very simple and stupid idea of let's write the score on a fucking whiteboard.
Fawn said, Matt, T-Bob is not a foxhole guy. Ask Hester.
I'm not.
What is that?
I'm not entertaining this. There is completely misrepresentative slander that I am not a foxhole guy, which nothing could be further from the truth. Jake's my fucking partner, but whenever he wants to disagree with me or get the chat against me, he says I'm not a foxhole guy, and then the sheep will follow.
You hate to see it.
Yeah, I do hate to see it because it's untrue. Oh, look at this, dude. I'm going to text from our guy, Al, fucking Gordon never quits.
Wait, is he?
This is.
Oh, my God, stop it.
Alex box. In the Alec box celebration right now.
God.
I got sent a picture of Cade Veloso on the big screen, and he's got an 8888 hat on, and it says 8,888 reasons to
rally. That's what they put on the Gordon billboard. He bought 8,888 shots.
The game. Oh, wow.
No, so Gordon came in studio with me yesterday. So how about this? So I shoot Gordon a text. I'm like, hey, because
Dude,
Tuesday.
PJ's putting in extra miles now, Bo.
No. So Tuesday. Oh God, this has been a long fucking 2 weeks, man. I'm not trying to complain.
No. I said it this
like,
morning. I was like, guys, I know I'm supposed to come in here with like techno and yelling, but I can't imagine how these players. I'm fucking tired.
Dude, and I did a lot. I did like a 2-hour live stream after every game.
Yeah, I know.
That is a fuckload of hours.
I know.
Hours.
I know.
Just talking. But anyway, so I'm not complaining. It's great. But so I text Gordon. So Hunt went to Omaha. Wanted to go with his dad. I was like, bro, go. It's fine. And then because of travel, whatever, he had to miss. He did a show Monday in Omaha, and he called me. He's like, bro, my voice. I was like. In so many words, said, fuck you, you're doing your show.
Yeah.
Go get some honey and buy some fucking cough drops and do your fucking show.
If I've done my show with the quality of voice that I've had at times, you just got to grind through that thing.
So he's like, fine. He's like, I'm in. I'm like, good. Yeah, I know you're in. Anyway, so, but Tuesday they're traveling home. And so it's like, normally when, you know how, like, when one of us are out, we have fill-ins. And it was like, it was the national LSU won the national championship, and it was like so I just did Hunt show for him.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It was too big of a day to just I don't want to sound like an ass, but you know what I mean. Like
you need somebody who cares and knows about
I'm all
baseball
about getting our guys reps and everything like that. I want that, but like this was the day after the Natty. Like it had to be a bigger day. So I was like, I'll wear it. So I did Hunt show and my show. So I had 5 hours yesterday solo, and I'm like, all right, I just got to load up with every angle I can. So we got a bunch of. It was good. Anyway, so I text Gordon. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know if you're back in town. Would love to get you on the show to talk about the Jello shot thing, whatever. He comes in studio. I had no idea he was coming. I thought we were just on the phone. So, like, it's 5 o'clock. I'm like, hey, man, we're calling you right now. He's like, I'm on the second floor. I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't know you're coming in. So, yes, your boy was riding a PJ back and forth and just hopping. Dude, he came back. Like,
I know.
In between games.
He picked up Kim Mulkey.
Well, no, yeah, like he was like,
no, I know, but Mulkey wasn't there Sunday.
No, I know.
He flew out Sunday and then had another Instagram post on Monday flying with Coach Mulkey.
But he went from Colorado to Omaha, back home,
no, I
then
know.
back.
That's what I'm saying. I know.
It's like, bro. Anyway.
And I'll say this. The same way I felt better when I saw Joe Burrow, I felt better when I saw Coach Mulkey.
Yeah,
I mean, something about it.
So, what the fuck is this? Oh, so anyway, so Gordon tells me after they lost on Sunday, he went to Rocco's and bought the shots.
Yeah.
It wasn't Monday.
No, it was after.
So he had already called the Rocco's guys and was like, I want to do this. And they're like, I don't know if we can. It's so many, this and that. And so, like, he's like, he said on the radio, he's like, I called my bank. I was like, get the money live. It's going, the transaction, blah, 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 whatever. And so he walked over to Rocco's after.
$2 of every shot goes to a food bank.
Yeah.
So it's not just completely frivolous spending. It's fun. It's
even if it is, I don't care.
No, I know, but some people, I still think it bears mentioning that, like, also $1 years ago used to pay for 3 meals. I don't know if it still does, but you're talking about just thousands upon thousands of meals being bought for the needy as well.
So good. So anyway, that's so good. So Gordon, so basically Gordon's like, I'm sitting in the stadium, I'm watching us lose, I'm like, fuck it, I'm doing it. He didn't say fuck it, but like, he was trying to decide if he was actually going to go through with the shot thing. You know, should they do it, should they not? There was like questions because apparently Rocco's is going to have to pay a fine because of Graves and Gordon. Because when you serve alcohol, you have to know to whom you are serving the alcohol. So when you give someone 8,000 shots, you don't know who is going to end up consuming those shots, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, well, anyway, so he's like, that Rocco's got to pay for it, but it's going to be minimal relative to what they made this week. Jesus. So really cool.
I got the origin story. Somebody said it was in, shout out Alex G, who said the answer in the Rocco's article on ESPN that it's Todd Graves in it, and it looks like in 2011, when Florida played South Carolina in the finals, both teams wanted their own shots. So McAvoy, who I'm guessing is the owner, created separate concoctions. Later, they were at a dueling piano bar when Creighton and Nebraska were facing off in basketball. And there were chants of "Go Big Red, let's go Jays." And they said that night, like, thousands of dollars flew into the tip jar. So people started getting uber competitive and just throwing money. And then he said, oh, wait, let's come up with drinks for all 8 teams. Thus, the Jello Shot Challenge was born.
Okay, anyway. All right, questions.
Ask Scone T any update on the next pitching coach.
I think it's going to be Nate Yeske. I was told 3 names. Nate Yeske, Robert Woodard, who's the head coach at Charlotte, and Casey Mascara, who's the pitching coach at Wake Forest. I was told Mascara is the coach in waiting to replace Tom Walter at Wake, so he's not leaving. Woodard would take it if he's offered. I think Yeske's the odds-on favorite. He's the A&M pitching coach right now, but I was also told Jay is considering going back into the pro ranks again.
Randall
But I was
Offred.
also told Jay's not fucking worried about a pitching coach. He's worried about Portal before pitching coach, or maybe while I'm pitching coach.
Jay's been saying that he's not worried about finding a good pitching coach.
Yeah. It's not to say he won't hire one tomorrow. I'm just saying, like, his priority is Portal, not pitching coach.
But as he said, that's not to discount Wes Johnson, because him and Wes Johnson have gotten incredibly close and worked incredibly well together over these 11 months. Randall Offred says, with a $10 super chat, no mention of K-Zone or Terrell umpires in the championship series.
Yeah, I thought it was well done.
I thought it was well done, too. And they didn't go with K-Zone.
I love that they didn't.
Yeah. Because immediately now, was I certainly frustrated after the Wake Forest loss, and I'm looking at that 6th inning with Ty Floyd where you have, the 3 walks for like all strikes? It was kind of insane. I was angry.
Somebody loves K-Zone.
No. That's why I fucking hate the K-Zone, okay? Because that is knowledge I don't want to be privy to. The next day,
you could realize that the ump fucked up.
No, the next day, my kids are telling me, Dad, let's play the beach. Dad, I love you. And I'm just thinking, shut the fuck up, kid. Ty Floyd was throwing strikes. Okay, that's the problem. I'm not being so mean to my children if K-Zone doesn't let me know that.
Got it.
But it was objectively, I say objectively in my opinion. In my opinion, it was a very good broadcast decision to not have K-Zone. I get it on the MLB level. Those guys are incredible. The umps are as well. You don't want it on the college level. It behooves no one.
Any more questions?
Ask Scone and T, what were y'all sipping on? Everything?
They brought us a lot of fun cocktails.
I don't even know anymore. A lot of fancy stuff.
You love cocks, don't you?
I ate 2 shots in a cock. That's how it is.
What's up with these glasses you're wearing?
I stole them from Rivers Huey. They're my Hunter S. Thompson. I like to do a lot of drugs classes.
That's so plays. Shout out Rivs.
Stole from Rivs.
Do you realize we're 19 days from media days? 19 days away.
Yeah, I'm fucking hyped, dude.
We're leaving in 18 days.
Of course, shameless plug. YouTube.com/@volumesnaps. Me and Aaron Murray do a show together for Snaps. I can't do this for OTB because we're going to be set up at actual Radio Row. But I've never been to Nashville before, and I want to do.
Never?
No, I want to do Snaps from one of those rolling bars. Ideally with a bachelorette party.
Oh, that's right. We talked about this on
Saturday
night. That's
right. We'll see.
All right, what else?
Ask Scone and T.
Please smash the like button if you're watching live or on demand. And subscribe up to the channel. Thank you.
Let's see here. Hold on, find him. We already talked about Kling. What the fuck did I witness the first 2? Make sure I talked about that. Y'all said before the CWS, this comes from Jeff. Y'all said before the CWS, somebody in the bullpen was going to have to step up. Who do you think did it? And was there more than one? Ackenhausen, Herring,
Cooper,
Guidry. But probably like the highlights would definitely be the Ackenhausen.
Just stick with Ackenhausen and Herring.
Yeah.
And by the way,
and Cooper. You think Cooper though?
I think Riley Cooper. Hot take. If I was at the College World Series as a credentialed member of the media,
I know what you're about to say.
I would have voted for Riley Cooper for the MVP of the series. I understand why they gave it to Paul Skeens. He was the starting pitcher in 2 games. Cooper had 3 saves, a win, and pitched in the championship game. He pitched in 5 games, amassing 3 saves and a win. Like, if Paul Skeens wasn't Paul Skeens,
God, they should have named Riley Cooper MVP, dude.
Like, I'm not. This isn't even like one of those. Oh, I'm being contrarian. Like, he should have been the MVP of the series. He had 3 saves and a win. He had half as many wins and 3 times as many saves and pitched 5 times in 10 days. Riley Cooper should have been the MVP. I'm not mad about Paul Skeens getting it. I'm thrilled for him, and I'm happy, and that's a great honor and everything, and he was magnificent in 2 starts, and one of them on short rest. He was magnificent. You could have made a case for Tommy White. You could have made a case for Cade Beloso. You could have made a case for a lot of guys. If I had a vote, I would have voted for Riley Cooper.
Big boys. Fonzarelli says, ask Scone and T, does Cruz coming to college and saying it's the best choice he's ever made, plus NIL, help bring in the recruits that could get drafted? I mean, it sure doesn't hurt. Also, I think Jay's had the strongest pitch from this from day one. He told us in the opening press conference when he got the job that he thinks there's mounting evidence to show that the best path to being your best professional self actually lies to allowing yourself to develop during the college years rather than immediately jumping into the minors. For some, not for all. It's not one size fits all.
The real the real thing that I think would sway a high school athlete is the college baseball experience getting better, meaning better stadiums, better facilities, better travel, better hotels, better, like, you live a plush life for 3 years developing instead of riding a bus.
And you're making money now.
You can make money.
And like, if you're good, you can make
NIL.
I don't know if you can make your signing bonus, but like you said, you make more than you. Like, if you're a guy that is like, I might get drafted high enough to not want to go to college, at LSU, you could probably make more than you would be making in the minors post-signing bonus. Fair?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Like, you talked about earlier how when you get in the MLB, you get your signing bonus, but then you get that minors contract, which is awful. So if you're one of those guys that is good enough where going to the MLB at a high school is a legitimate option, then there's a good chance that you're good enough to get enough NIL money where you might not make up that signing bonus, but you could be surpassing your year-to-year salary. Maybe
or you will certainly live more comfortably. Now you have to go to school, but but we're also talking about a very, very small number
that's true.
Of elite athletes. Like, Dylan Cruz isn't out. Like, Dylan wanted $6 million coming out of high school. And that was his number, and he didn't budge. And the hard thing for a lot of guys is, like,
now he's going to make 9.
Right. That was his thing. So he was like, I'm not taking less than that. I want my number.
And he got the natty, and he got 3 years of being, like, the fucking big man on campus. 2-time SEC Player of the Year, Golden Spikes.
He got
it's
it all.
Unreal.
But Dylan Cruz is also the best player to ever come through this program.
It's Joe Burrow.
So, like, I'll tell you, the one to keep an eye on is the name I just mentioned, which is Connor Griffin. Connor Griffin is Bryce Harper. He's a kid in Mississippi. He was the 2025 kid who reclassified for 2024.
What?
That top prospect thing I just read, they have him as the 4th best prospect. He is, like, I've had scouts tell me, like, he is Bryce Harper. He is Josh Hamilton. He is
reclassified a year up and is the 4th prospect.
Yeah. He is the Connor Griffin is the once-a-decade guy that is just MLB ready as an 18-year-old.
So he's not coming.
But
Dylan Cruz was too, though.
So, no, here's the thing about Connor Griffin. And I get I've said this. Terrio and I had Connor on the show whenever he committed to LSU. And the one thing I'll tell you, and I get every single skeptical comment. I get it. Your reaction that you just had is 100% the right reaction. He's never coming to school. I get it. I get it. I get it. There's a chance with that kid. It's not as cut and dried as he's just going to sign. I'm not saying it's done. I'm not even saying there's a greater percentage that he comes to school then signs. I'm just saying it's not binary. It's not like it's done.
Think COVID affected Cruz's decision at all?
Cruz. He didn't get to play his senior season. So that was definitely a part of it. When he did play, he scuffled a little bit offensively, and so it kind of pushed him down in round one.
Kind of like how Bregman broke his hand or whatever.
That's what happened.
High school.
Bregman was a catcher and an infielder, and he broke his thumb or something like. I think he broke his thumb, and so he didn't hit that year. And so he told every team, if you don't take me in round one, I'm not signing. Don't take me. And so he's like, I'm going to school.
Wow.
No. There's some guys that are like that, but that's the reason Bregman was the number 2 pick in the draft, and Cruz is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft, and that's what it is.
Unreal, dude.
No.
All right.
Any more? Or are we done?
Oh man, Jay's at the podium. He opened with, "Sorry, I didn't prepare very much for this speech because I was working on 2024."
I love it. I believe him.
What a fucking legend. Dane says, "Thank you, man, team, for your CWS coverage." Hell yeah. Hold on, I got more here.
We can be done. We've been going 84 minutes.
I know. Okay, let's see if we can one more.
And we started late.
Actually, no. Never mind. Let's call it.
Okay.
Hey. Cheers. From my comically large drink to your heart. I hope you all had a wonderful time listening to this meandering, tangential, diverting show.
Yes.
I'll to wrap up on a bit of an emotional note.
Oh, shit.
I will never forget this baseball team.
Okay,
this was the first team as an adult that I have truly loved. Now, I have been falling back in love with the game of baseball, which I grew up loving. But, when you're 9 or 10, man, you don't really know what you're watching. I'm just watching the Braves. I'm in Atlanta. It's fucking awesome. Whatever. It's fun.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm saying this is the first time where
care.
I've really just watched every pitch, every weekend. And
I have to interview a bunch of doctors tomorrow at 7 a.m.
It was just fucking fantastic. I can't think. This is why I love sports, man.
Oh, that's spicy ketchup.
All the community. Yeah, bro, all the dips here are amazing. But the community hanging out at Don Juan, the community hanging out here at Oliver Twist, community in the box, community in Omaha. It's just awesome, man. It's one of the reasons why sports are so cool. And championships feel good.
Awesome.
And, hey, Tennessee, you fucking losers. This is
losers.
what an everything school looks like, you bitch. But, T-Bob, we finished higher in the SEC Learfield Directors Cup or whatever it's called.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what they keep hitting me
No
with.
way. Shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Matt threw fries in the drink. Yes. That's what they keep coming
are
at me.
Tennessee fans seriously flexing with the Directors Cup thing?
Yes, because I started making fun of him. No, I swear to God. I swear. I keep putting the gif of the guy who is going crazy, pointing at the whiteboard. He's like, he's like, okay, bro, whatever, dude. And then because you just do this.
I don't believe you.
You have Joe Burrow, Angel. Go look at my mentions.
That has to be one Tennessee fan.
No,
they're all doing it.
No. There are. They're bringing up either that or football, and it's football, whatever, dude. It's one fucking game. Who gives a shit? We won Natty. What are you gonna do?
Congratulations on getting your ass kicked by South Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, you know what, guys? It is wrong. You're right. Y'all had a great year, 11-2, and we focus on championships too much. Did you blow a playoff spot by losing to Spencer Rattler in South Carolina? Yes, but 11-2. 11-2 is a great year.
But they got a 60 burger.
11-2 should be celebrated.
Are we done?
Yeah. Great.
I was giving them a thumbs up.
I thought you were.
I was giving them a thumbs up. Smash the like button, please.
Great season.